And this is a Fox News Alert. You are looking live at Kentucky Senator Rand Paul. He is on the Senate floor where he continues to filibuster a vote to confirm John Brennan as the next CIA director. He's now been speaking for more than 9 hours. We'll continue to monitor the floor all throughout this hour. We'll bring you the very latest as it happens. And it was also a historic day on the floor of the U.S. Senate as Rand Paul successfully now has filibustered this vote to confirm John Brennan as the next director of the CIA. Now, Senator Paul was standing on principle and said he would not stop talking until this administration clarifies why the president of the United States believes that he has the legal authority to use unmanned drones to kill U.S. citizens right here on American soil, by the way, without a trial. Now, all of this began at 11:45 this morning, and it has continued now on to this hour, and this is how it all started. Watch this.
I rise today to begin to filibuster John Brennan's nomination for the CIA. I will speak until I can no longer speak. I will speak as long as it takes until the alarm is sounded from coast to coast that our Constitution is important, that your rights to trial by jury are precious, that no American should be killed by a drone on American soil without first being charged with a crime, without first being found to be guilty by a court.
And it went on from there. Now, here's the backstory. Now, as we told you last night on this very program, Senator Rand Paul received a letter from the Attorney General, Eric Holder, and was disturbed by the response that he received, as Holder refused to rule out the possibility of targeting American citizens for assassination on U.S. soil. And today, just one day after sending that letter, Holder went back before lawmakers on Capitol Hill, and he was asked point blank about this once again. Watch this.
Can you agree there's no scenario would be appropriate to use an armed drone on U.S. soil to strike an American citizen?
Well, what I said in the letter was that the government has no intention to carry out any drone strikes in the United States. It's hard for me to imagine a situation in which that would occur. We have within the United States the ability to use our law enforcement capacity.
No intention? Hard to imagine? Why can't he just say no? Now, Senator Ted Cruz was so baffled by Holder's comments and his contradictions, he pressed the Attorney General even further. Watch this.
Do you have a legal judgment on whether it would be constitutional to kill a U.S. citizen on U.S. soil in those circumstances?
A person who is not engaged, as you've described. Again, this is the problem with hypotheticals. But the way in which you have described this person sitting at the cafe, not doing anything imminently, the use of lethal force would not be appropriate, would not be something.
I find it remarkable that you still will not give an opinion on the constitutionality. Let me move on to the next topic because we've gone round and round.
Let me be clear. Translate my appropriate to no. I thought I was saying no. All right? No.
All right, wait a minute. What exactly is the Attorney General's position on this matter? Now, first he says it's hard to imagine a situation where drones would be used in the U.S. Then he says such an action would be inappropriate. Then he sort of implies it would be unconstitutional. In other words, we have absolutely no idea where the administration stands on an issue that each and every American citizen needs to be concerned about. Now, either the president believes he has the right to target whoever he wants, wherever he wants, whenever he wants for assassination, or they don't believe it. Now, that's why the Paul filibuster took place today. I commend the senator for having the courage to stand up and, in this case, do the right thing. And until we get answers, John Brennan does not belong anywhere near Langley. And joining me now with reaction, Fox News political analyst Juan Williams and chairman of the Faith and Freedom Coalition, Ralph Reed. Good to see you, my friend. How are you?
My pleasure.
Ralph, good to see you.
Good to be with you, Sean.
Tell me, this is madness because they can't say yes, no, way. They keep contradicting themselves. Give an answer.
Well, I think the answer should be no.
Should be, but it's not.
But the thing is, if an airplane, and by the way, Senator Graham has said this, if an airplane is headed towards the World Trade Center again and we have the ability to knock that plane out of the sky.
We have to do it.
Okay, well, wait a second.
That's not what they're talking about.
But that's what it is what we're talking about, because the Congress has authorized the president, President Bush, to go after and kill terrorists.
That was not what the essence of Rand Paul's question. And the fact that they left the door open, then tried to qualify, well, we don't imagine and we don't intend, that's very ambiguous language. Ralph Reed, what do you think?
Well, what's happened here, Sean, is real simple. A president who ran saying that he was going to be the most transparent administration in U.S. history, condemned what he called the Bush administration's secret war against terrorism, said that it was being conducted without regard to what he called the, quote, compass of our values, is now conducting the most secretive, untransparent, with muddled legal reasoning war on terror in the history of modern warfare. And the president and Eric Holder has painted themselves into this corner for really one very simple reason. They refuse to capture terrorists in the field of battle, would not close Gitmo after promising to do so, won't engage in perfectly legal interrogation techniques, which, by the way, were critical to finding Osama bin Laden. So they say they won't interrogate terrorists, but they're willing to now kill 3,000 of them, including the unprecedented ordered targeted assassination of U.S. citizens.
No, wait a second.
This has been caused by the president's own policies.
Ralph, you just went off on a litany of complaints, but let me just say I am so shocked to hear Ralph Reed and to hear Sean Hannity say,
you're not shocked.
oh, no, we should not have the president of the United States going full bore against people who want to kill Americans, people who hate us.
I didn't say that, Sean.
And you even said
Juan,
the problem is that he hasn't closed Guantanamo Bay. I think you should be one of the first people to stand up and say there's a good reason he hasn't closed Guantanamo Bay. We don't want those people back on the battlefield.
Juan, don't twist my words. What I said was he painted himself into this corner because he said it was wrong to capture and interrogate terrorists.
All right, let me take it a step deeper in this.
He won't capture and interrogate him, but he'll kill him. That's what I said.
Right, let me go a step deeper here, because we can't ignore the left, and specifically President Obama, going around, I will stop torture. I will close Gitmo, saying that in Cairo.
Right.
But let's go back. Let's go to the videotape. The same guy that's willing to use drones on American citizens is against waterboarding and enhanced interrogation.
Under my administration, the United States does not torture. My administration is going to operate in a way that leaves no doubt that we do not torture and that we abide by the Geneva Conventions.
Waterboarding is torture. It's contrary to America's traditions. It's contrary to our ideals. That's not who we are. That's not how we operate. And anybody who was actually read about and understands the practice of waterboarding would say that that is torture. And that's not something we do. Period.
Jose Rodriguez, who was there for the waterboarding, said without those techniques, we never would have gotten bin Laden. By the way, Leon Panetta admitted it as well that it contributed to the... Yes, he did.
No, he didn't.
Right, but let me stay on point here, because you're going to tell me that the president leaves, through his attorney general, this ambiguous message that they leave the door open on killing Americans on American soil without, wait a minute, without a trial, no conditions whatsoever did he lay out in that letter, is now the people that were against waterboarding, the people that were against enhanced interrogation, drones are okay, but not waterboarding?
Don't you feel like you're in a flip-flop situation?
No,
here, Sean?
not at all.
Because just a moment ago you said if the airplane is headed towards the World Trade Center, you want the president to take out that plane.
No, but they left it...
It's the other way around, Juan.
Exactly. Go ahead.
Well, how's that other way around? Because what I'm saying is,
I'll tell you how it's the other way around. All Eric Holder had to do, he didn't have to engage in these verbal gymnastics. All he had to do was say what legal scholars have established for centuries. The President of the United States has a right to use his derivative powers as Commander-in-Chief to protect the homeland under two circumstances. Number one, to repel foreign invasion, and number two, to protect the homeland against attack. Anything that he has to do so, U.S. citizens have been killed in past conflicts before. They were killed during the Civil War if they were involved in attacking the United States. That's all he had to say. Instead, it's imminent threat, hypotheticals. This is the most legally muddled, confused administration I have ever seen. And Juan, it all gets back to the fact that he's constantly apologizing for the projection of U.S. power and prosecuting the war.
I think that was a really smart analysis, but the thing is that's not what they're discussing. What they're discussing is whether or not you can use a drone, an armed drone, to go after someone that you've identified as a potential terrorist threat on U.S. soil.
Well, we're just going to wait.
We're not talking about the situation you just described.
Wait, do they get to just decide, well, we think he's a terrorist? He's not an...
No.
Hang on. He's not an imminent threat to anybody. He's in a cafe having a little bit of coffee. We're going to drop a bomb on him. They did not spell out the circumstances. Ralph very articulately laid out the conditions under which it would be acceptable and legal.
Right. And what Ralph's talking about...
Why didn't they say that?
Well, the reason they didn't say that is it has nothing...
Attorney General... Juan, this is the Attorney General of the United States, and he couldn't articulate in sworn testimony what I just said on a TV show.
No, but Ralph, what you said had to do with a military action. What they're talking about is a single individual in the cafe that Sean was just talking about. Let me finish. No, of course they. If the guy is about to attack me and you, Sean, and kill, I'm surprised that you wouldn't want him taken out.
Who determines that?
The President of the United States.
Wait a minute. Is there any judicial oversight like there is in any other instance?
The President was given authority by the Congress to go after those terrorists. But let me just say, I agree that on the kill list, on going overseas, I would like to have some review.
All right. Thank you both. We got to help Juan out here.
All right.